Hello and welcome, people of the internet. Here is two men, almost 30. We're going to be discussing SpongeBob, a show that came out like 30 years ago.
No, it
Something
came
like,
out 20 years ago.
hang on, let me see.
25 years ago.
SpongeBob, first episode.
Yes. So it was in 99.
Okay, so like in 5 years, it'll be 30 years old. So close enough. Anyway, yeah, let me see. This was written. I watched this 2 years ago, and we were gonna do the episode, but stuff happened, and we did other episodes, and we just never got back to it. However, Vex here, I believe, has grown up with the show because I wasn't allowed to watch it because my mom saw SpongeBob rip his pants and decided it was too inappropriate for children.
Man, you missed out on the panty raid.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's in this collection, actually.
It's a banned episode. It's not in season 1, though. But,
Wait, it is in season 1?
no, panty raid is like, what, season 2, maybe 3? I'd have to look again. But no, season 1 is, does not have the panty raid.
Okay, because I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I got the collection right here.
Unless I'm dead wrong, but I don't remember them looking season 1. Season 1 was all drawn by, that oil thing, pen and paper, and then 2000 onward, they went digital. You can definitely see the difference.
Yeah, kind of like how the Simpsons did that.
To it, though, like they put their love and whatnot into the art to make it move.
Yeah.
OG SpongeBob was just something special about it.
Looking, I don't see it on here, but I don't know.
That depends. Are you looking at it on the internet or a physical?
No,
DVD?
I'm looking on the DVD here. It's
Like,
the
this
first
would-
one. This is the first 100 episodes, but it doesn't divide it by seasons. Just lists episode number. So even though like season 2's first episode would be episode 1, it could be episode 30 for all I know in the overall count. But I don't know. Because I know they put it in somewhere.
All of season 1 and 2. Because I think each season's got about 17 to 23 episodes.
Yeah, let's see.
But I don't know if the episodes are paired as 2 episodes or one thing, because it was 2 episodes. I'm trying to say something, it didn't come out right.
Okay, the episode was called Midlife Crustacean. I thought it was actually just called The Panty Raid.
No, it can't be called the panty raid. That'd be a no-no.
Oh, it's here, absolutely.
Is it season 1?
55. It says episode 55 in the box here, but it says... Oh, season 3, episode 15B.
Oh, it's a little later. Okay.
Okay. Alright, so
beyond the something.
So I have like short little notes of what happened. If some of these episodes are kind of like, that was funny, but I don't have a ton of notes. But if it was something funny, I made note of it. So, in order, this whole episode is just season 1. So episode 1, it looks like this has 3 episodes to it, so it would be episode 1, A, B, and C, I guess. Help wanted. I love Squidward's desperation to keep SpongeBob from even getting hired at the job. And Krabs is just like, oh yeah, you gotta get this like hydrodynamic spatula with port and starboard attachment turbo drive, and he just actually ends up getting it. And so, keep in mind, these notes are 2 years old, so I don't know what I'm referring to, but there was a scene where they just got swarmed by anchovies as soon as they opened or something.
Show.
I do I did make a note that a SpongeBob literally ran over all of the ingredients he prepared, which is clearly a health violation.
Okay, we can't talk. You look at Mr. Krabs is all about that money. It doesn't matter how he gets it. He's just about the money. But he does have standards in some things because he won't sell a green patty, but he will sell a patty that rolled under a stove like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm not season 1, so we can't talk about it, just for future reference. He also got very sick.
So Reef Blower. SpongeBob just sucks up the entire ocean.
I heard that the sound equipment broke at one time, so in order to they made a filler episode so that they wouldn't lose money or something. I'm not sure how true that is. It's just something I had heard. But it seems like their equipment broke. They couldn't fix it, so they made that silent episode.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the whole time I was watching this, I'm like the DiCaprio meme, like, whoop. Every time I see one of the memes, and like, my God, how many of the fucking classic memes are in this one episode?
Yes.
Because the I guess the C episode of the first episode is Tea at the Tree Dome, where we get the I don't need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does. I guess it's where he first meets Sandy, and he checks the junior woodchuck. I mean, the field guide to figure out what species she is.
Find out he's a land squirrel that's underwater with a that is not crushed by the immense pressure of the ocean.
I have a hangnail. But yeah, he pretty much suffocates at her place and tries to resist dying of water in the hopes of getting a squirrel pussy, I guess.
Oh my. Well, he is trying to date her. Patrick's the best wingman. He's just like, yo, put your pinky out.
Yeah.
When in doubt, pinky out. But I can't do that, unfortunately. So I'm just truthful.
So then we move to episode 2. This is the micro episode thing is so confusing, but I guess,
like I said,
yeah. So like I got to say episode 2A, 2B, and so on. Woohoo! So we have Bubble Stand. SpongeBob won't stop making noise, so he hands Patrick a quarter so he can pay for bubbles. I don't.
Yeah, Patrick needs to borrow. He's selling a bubble stand, and for anyone to blow one singular bubble, it costs 25 cents. But Patrick's broke, so he borrows a quarter from SpongeBob and then pays for the bubble.
I see. And then I guess SpongeBob goes like, "Business is booming," or something like that.
Making no money.
My God, these notes are, again, they're so old. I don't remember writing some of these.
But Patrick, don't worry, I remember. But Patrick can't blow a bubble because he's got a skill issue. So SpongeBob teaches him this special technique, but he'll do it at a premium. So Patrick again asks him to borrow another quarter, to which SpongeBob gives him another quarter. Then Patrick buys the premium, and SpongeBob shows him the technique on how to blow a perfect bubble with fancy art. And Squidward is unamused. So he goes out there, and he gives him like a bottle cap or something, because he gives him a fake quarter. And he can't blow the bubble either.
Yeah, there's this whole fucking weird way he blows bubbles too. And it's like, oh, you gotta do it exactly like this. You gotta turn. All this garbage. It's ridiculous.
So Squidward's ignoring everyone. Then afterwards, he makes up his own technique, which makes him make a giant bubble, but it's not artistic. It's just a giant bubble. And then he's carried away into up the ocean to the surface to where his bubble explodes and he floats back down. And he just dies.
And next, episode 2B, the aforementioned ripped pants episode, is Sandy and SpongeBob go into a weightlifting competition, but SpongeBob is, weak as fuck. When he flexes his muscle, it goes down. And he rips his pants. Everyone laughs at it, and then he spends the rest of the episode just milking the joke until it just becomes unfunny.
He fakes his death, and that made everyone worried, and that he lost his audience.
Hmm.
He drowns underwater. I mean, he's an underwater creature who can drown because that's a thing, apparently.
Yes. And then I suppose this is another classic episode 3A, jellyfishing.
Yes, classic episode. It just
Squidward.
starts out the what?
Go ahead.
Oh, it just starts out like SpongeBob and Patrick are just sitting there minding their own business. Then all of a sudden, they find the perfect jellyfish and they just go all out, hook up all this stuff, and the music's going. It's just like hard. It goes harder than it needs to be. And then when they finally get outside, they just start acting goofy and start fishing for jellyfish.
Yeah. At some point, Squidward explodes after falling off of a cliff. They try to cheer him up afterwards. I think this is where he's all bandaged up, like his bones are broken and whatever. And SpongeBob tries to play his clarinet, I guess, and gets saliva in it, and he's just dying on the inside more than usual.
After SpongeBob gets his mouth all wet, Patrick stops him. He's like, "Music's not best either."
Yeah.
Thankfully, Patrick intervenes. That would have been nasty.
Mm-hmm. And then episode 3B, I guess this is Plankton's introduction, where he's conspires for the first time to get a Krabby Patty.
Yes. He's just a
little dude. Yeah, enters SpongeBob body to control his brain, and shit ensues. I don't remember anything else.
He controls SpongeBob he's going to make SpongeBob give him a Krabby Patty so he can dissect it, or analyze it, I should say, and learn the secret formula.
Like, why doesn't he just... He keeps trying this shit. Why doesn't he ever just, like, pay somebody to go in and get one and bring it to him? Because he's always caught if he tries.
Well, that would ruin the plot.
But, he's got to try it a different way or something.
Well, the fact is, I think he did try, but the Krabby Patty is just so good that when whoever takes it just eats it, because they can't resist it.
Episode 4A, Naughty Nautical Neighbors.
Ah, yes, of course. Classic.
You're just going to say that. I think you're going to say that for every episode at this point.
Exactly. All the way. Season 1 SpongeBob is classic, classier, and the most classic.
All the way to season 3. But yeah, we're pretty much just going to go seasons 1, 2, 3, the movie, and then maybe we're done after that.
You don't want to go past season 5.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But I think my collection goes up to end of season 5.
I mean, if you ever see any of season 14, you'll want to shoot yourself in the face. This stuff is garbage.
Yeah. Squidward is making a souffle, and SpongeBob and Patrick are being annoying because they're blowing messages to each other through bubbles.
Which is genius.
I believe the bubble continuity is broken here somehow. I don't know what I meant when I wrote that note, but I think it's because they had such a hard time doing it in that episode because they had to go through this whole thing, and then here they're just, we can just blow normal bubbles now without any extra garbage.
Well, the thing is, they've already done the technique, so the technique is permanent. I guess that's just what I figured.
Maybe.
So then Squidward, with his technique, he just says these malicious things and causes SpongeBob and Patrick to hate each other. Then it bites him in the booty because now they won't leave him alone.
But yeah, he sits outside to laugh at them and chokes on his fork. Patrick saves him and then goes to hang out with him. And then... I don't know. I'm having a stroke reading this sentence. When he drags Patrick away after he fell asleep, he hurts his back, and SpongeBob takes the opportunity to become his new friend by fixing his back, but ends up getting kicked out after he breaks Squidward's cello.
I mean, he breaks it good, too. He's just singing. He's like, Patrick likes Squidward, likes Patrick more than SpongeBob. Yeah. And then SpongeBob gets mad and breaks the cello, and they're both kicked out of the house.
Yeah. And then Squidward actually conspires to get the two back together, so they'll leave him alone. They're each trying to be best friend. And then they have a drinking contest and become friends after laughing their asses off, and everything's fine. And then, is this still episode 4? So
Well,
episode 4B, boating school.
woohoo, Mrs. Puff!
He tries to get his boating license, passes the oral exam by memory, because he's done it so many times. 38 times, to be exact.
Yes.
He gets a radio stuffed in his head and guides SpongeBob, which is an incredible feat for Patrick to do, because, you know, he's a dumbass.
He's got some skill when needed.
And yeah, while he's doing, like, really good because of that, Mrs. Puff jokes that, like, man, I wonder, you must be cheating with a radio. And it turns out, look, he actually is. He fails by crashing into something. And then, you know, she has a stroke, and SpongeBob's like, he'll try harder next semester.
Really?
Yeah, I guess he, like, couldn't go through with it because of his honesty or whatever.
He feels so guilty, he takes his hand off the wheel and just begins crying. And they go out of control, and they crash into the lighthouse, and she goes, "Oh, SpongeBob, why?"
Mm-hmm.
And then SpongeBob goes, "Mrs. Puff, I think I cheated my leg."
Episode 5, pizza delivery. This is where we get the one where
this one's like Yamaha.
Yeah.
Because
it's like almost. Wait, what?
Oh, I just thought of this meme featuring Yamaha. It's a piano company, but they also sell motorcycles.
I see.
I've seen this thing. They called them up. It was like, "You got motorcycles? Of course we got motorcycle." Off topic.
But yeah, it's like almost closing time or whatever, and someone orders a pizza, and Krabs like, "Yo, you got to deliver a pizza," and they're like, "We don't sell a pizza," and he just like somehow spins a plate of Krabby Patties or whatever in a weird way, and it just turns into a pizza.
He's got mad skill.
And they gotta go deliver it.
But also created SpongeBob's hit single, The Krusty Krab Pizza. Krusty Krab! Wait, I'm not going to get banned by Viacom for singing that, am I?
Huh?
Viacom, they don't like SpongeBob people posting their content, so if I sing the song, I'll get canceled.
I see, yeah, you probably shouldn't sing the song. We'll just... Yeah. So, they... I don't know why I wrote this. SpongeBob drives without a license because Squidward is a cunt. I don't...
Well, Squidward, what happens? Squidward doesn't want to drive. It's night, so he tells SpongeBob he's in school so he can do it. Then but SpongeBob has no skill whatsoever. Squidward pressures him into driving, and then he freaks out, and he just goes in reverse for miles in the wrong direction. Without crashing, mind you.
Yeah.
And then they run out of gas.
Yeah.
Until Squidward kicks the boat, and it gets all the gas back all of a sudden, and it shifts into drive and goes away. So this unmanned boat is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour under the ocean. Hopefully it doesn't kill nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, they brave a windstorm, and then SpongeBob beatboxes at one point and sings out of boredom. Squidward tries to steal the pizza. And that's where we get the meme where he's like, I don't know what he's saying exactly, but he's like tempting him with the pizza.
What's that? Is that the cheese and the pepperoni?
And the balls.
And the hop!
there's that part. It's a meme where someone voiced over it. He's supposed to make it look like Squidward's trying to get head from SpongeBob.
Oh, no.
It's great.
That's not okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's just trying to get head from the homies.
Yeah.
But yeah, he finds a rock and drives it to the customer's house, where he then gives him shit for not bringing the Dr. Kelp soda that he didn't even order. And I'm like, he's like, I want a drink. I'm like, you fucking live underwater. Just fucking...
No,
your fucking drink.
Always right, sir. Actually, he does order a drink. Before Mr. Krabs hangs up, he continues to speak on the phone just for a second, but he's already taken the phone off his ear. So he actually didn't hear it because he was just so greedy that he made that pizza in like a half a second.
Man. But yeah, and then SpongeBob has a breakdown, and Squidward slams the pizza in the guy's face, and it's nice. It's the one time I've seen so far that Squidward actually sticks up for SpongeBob.
I think Squidward only sticks up twice for him. That's when he does that, and then when he uh scolds Mr. Krabs for selling his soul for 62 cents.
5B, I think. Home Sweet Pineapple. Nematodes come to Bikini Bottom and eat everything, including SpongeBob's house. Squidward's very happy because this means he's going to have to, move home. Patrick tries to help him build a new house, but it just doesn't work out. He tries letting him stay at his house, but, it's kind of... They have to fight to keep the rock on top of them, which I find funny because in some other time, it's like he lifts up the house and he's got an actually really classy place under there, but here it's just a rock flat on the sand. So yeah, SpongeBob just eventually just uses some sand as a blanket, which is useless because Patrick drools and causes him to inflate, and I guess he just blows it away or something. I don't know. Oh, no, it drools on SpongeBob, and SpongeBob absorbs that, despite, being in the ocean, surrounded by water.
He's just surrounded by dense air.
Yeah. And he puts a cork in his mouth, and then he wakes up and slams SpongeBob with the rock because of that.
He's dreaming of spiders, so he's just trying to kill all the spiders, but spiders just have to be collateral damage.
Oh, I see. He then tries to stay with Squidward, but he gets kicked out. And then as he goes to leave with his parents, he buries a pebble, which is actually a pineapple seed, and it grows into a news house and falls on Squidward.
Squidward becomes a new centerpiece, and he's just like, forever.
Hang on, the phone is ringing. I'll be right back.
All right. That means my time to shine. Oh, snap. Bonus content of the episode. SpongeBob used to be called SpongeBoy Ahoy. But Nickelodeon changed it.
Hello.
I don't even know if the recording's still going.
Alrighty, episode 6. God, this is annoying shit out of me with these micro things. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Oh, human Squidward.
Yeah. I don't even remember. Human Squidward?
Barnacle Boy is just Squidward if he was a human man.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about he got turned into a human form or something. No. Yeah, so SpongeBob and Patrick discover the show and become super fans. They're straight up running around LARPing. And Squidward, as usual, gets annoyed and sends them to the nursing home where the actors are. I'm confused why two human guys are just living in the bottom of the ocean. Also, this is kind of
that's an episode that's explained later, much later in the series.
Yeah, because also they are just the size of SpongeBob and whatever, but when you watch the movies, they are tiny. So okay, so these guys not only live in the ocean, they've been shrunk down.
Well, that's because they're old. Murder Man admits that they've been shrinking for years.
Okay.
So they have been shrinking. They're just because they're old.
Got it. So they try to cheer him up by painting their invisible boat, and Barnacle Boy gets so pissed that he gets Mermaid Man to team up to try to kick their asses, but their attacks just tickle and amuse them because they're fucking old. And the antics end up with them just revamping their old show, and I don't know why, but I also wrote pickles, just the word pickles at the end. I don't know why.
Wait, that's the next episode?
No, the next... Oh, wait, no, okay, so yeah, I forgot to, write it in caps. When I wrote these notes, I was writing, the episode titles in caps, and I wrote something else in caps. So it just looks like it's the end of the episode, and I just wrote pickles for no reason, but it's where a picky bastard shows up in a cute... And wait, no. Wrong note.
I like that new name instead of Bubble Bass. That's funny.
Is that what that's actually called or something?
Oh, his name is Bubble Bass.
Oh, the character, you mean?
Yeah, the character's name is Bubble Bass, and him and SpongeBob apparently have a feud. The feud's never explained. They just don't like each other.
But yeah, this guy comes in and orders something like ridiculous, a little or whatever, and that's where we get the meme of Patrick's name. What?
He orders a double triple bossy deluxe on a raft, 4x4 animals. I don't remember the whole thing. It's dead.
It's very weird, and this is where we get the meme of Squidward saying, "Daring today, aren't we?"
We serve food here. No. Is that episode? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's written in here. I wrote it in all caps because I was so excited because it's one of my favorite memes.
Yeah, Bubble Bass is the next customer after that dude. He's like, he wants a Krabby Patty with extra onion. Daring today.
But then it's like the big fat guy or whatever, I guess is who we're talking about.
Yeah, Bubble Bass.
He accuses SpongeBob of not adding pickles, and then he loses his magic of, crafting the Krabby Patty and just begins to fail at everything. He can't even sleep because he can't figure out the order of getting into bed. And then Squidward tries, like, oh, I got this, I can cook, whatever, and he just burns everything, including a shake.
Somehow he's cooking an ice cream shake for some reason, but
I don't know. I could believe he absolutely mixed everything up and it just got burned because he's so bad.
But somehow he also fried a boot. His sandwich tastes like a fried boot, and the other dude's like, yo, my thing is a fried boot.
But yeah.
Then the customers start criticizing that he's doing it wrong. No, it's not. That's a different episode. I got it mixed up. My mistake. That comes later in the season.
But yeah. Krabs goes to stay with SpongeBob till he manages to figure it out.
Takes him about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. And then, I believe this is the one where he's like, I can't and he goes through the whole process of saying like how he cannot build a Krabby Patty, builds it right there, and he's like, oh shit, I can do it. Goes back to work. Bubble Bass shows up again, and some like dramatic music plays while he eats a burger and says there's no pickles again, but truth is he was keeping them under his tongue and just being an asshole.
Ew, imagine having your pickles under your tongue for like a week.
Yeah, disgusting.
It'd be extra.
Episode 7, Hall Monitor.
Oh no.
SpongeBob gets selected to be the hall monitor for the day. He makes a speech that lasts all day, and when he finally finished, class is already done. But he at least gets to wear the costume out of pity. He goes to try to help direct traffic and causes the biggest pile-up accident ever.
Someone didn't tell SpongeBob that hall monitor only applies to school and not out in the real world, but, he's trying his best.
Yeah. He arrests Patrick for dropping an ice cream cone, but then ends up recruiting him to track down a maniac, which turns out to be him. And that's where we get he's just standing there, menacingly. I love it. Then 7B, Jellyfish Jam. I have a problem with this. So he catches a jellyfish and milks it for jelly. And then it's following him for some reason. So I'm thinking this was a male jellyfish and he actually just jerked it off.
Let's not talk about that.
I mean...
No!
It's got little things on it.
We're ruining my childhood!
And it's like, yo, I got the greatest hand job ever.
I'm gonna ban you somehow. I'm gonna talk about Viacom.
You cannot ban me. You don't even have admin permissions in here.
The Viacom song, Krusty Krab.
So then they dance to music all night, and then the jellyfish keeps trying to turn the music on after it's getting shut off. Tons of other jellyfish show up, apparently having learned SpongeBob's hand job skills.
Would you stop saying that? No!
So,
my childhood is continuing.
Some of them come all over Gary.
My soul's beyond irritated at this point. Holy snap. You've ruined jellyfish jam.
But yeah, they keep playing music. They trash the house. Gary slams his eyeballs together, producing a rhythm the jellyfish like. Then they finally cool their shit. A holy symphony begins, and moral of the story, just don't jerk off the jellyfish.
My soul. I can't take it. You even left out the Squidward tried to fight back, but he got stung to death.
Look, I only write so many notes, otherwise we're going to be here forever.
And right down.
We've already been recording for like a half an hour. Granted, I was gone for like 3 minutes. But yeah. Episode 8, Sandy's Rocket.
Oh boy.
SpongeBob desperately wants to go to the moon with Sandy by trying to convince her he can fit anywhere on the ship. But she's like, I guess she's like, there is no room or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe there's only so many suits or whatever.
See, it's revealed in that episode that SpongeBob is a mass murderer.
Oh.
But Sandy goes on and says that she can't come with him. He can't come with her because of the Whirlybird incident. And it pans out to a graveyard just filled with headstones.
Oh.
So he either gunned them all down or he chopped them up with the blade, but he is a mass murderer, as confirmed by Sandy in that episode.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So, SpongeBob's unable to sleep. You know, he's very excited or whatever. Patrick shows up with alien-proof spray bullshit.
Does not stop burglars. Just aliens.
Yeah. I don't know what I meant by that, but yeah.
Yeah, he comes with alien-proof spray, but it only keeps aliens that will not stop burglars.
They end up accidentally launching the rocket after vibrating it somehow. I don't recall.
They push the buttons to kind of get like the engines going. Then he hits
okay.
And that just sends it on its way.
Then they're going. Yeah, they're in the ship. It's like anti-gravity stops, and then he's like lifting weights and all this shit. So then Sandy flies to the moon to catch up to them in her spacesuit, which makes me wonder why she needed a rocket in the first place.
It's faster, even though she got up there at pretty decent speed.
So they actually went around the moon, landed back on Bikini Bottom. They think everyone's an alien, so they're like attacking everybody. They sneak into Squidward's house, and they think he's a pregnant alien for some reason.
With twins.
Yeah. They slowly capture everybody in Bikini Bottom, including Sandy when she returns, and Patrick, who was, there anyway.
Himself.
He then flies to the actual moon, and everybody gets pissed. I don't know. Did he? I think something like he captured him, put them all in the ship. I guess maybe
he just like hog ties them, throws them in the ship, and they fly up to the moon to show Sandy. But they think they're flying back to Bikini Bottom. They run out of gas, and the ship crash lands on the moon. And he looks out the window and he sees Earth, and he's like, "Uh-oh!" And the dudes are like, "SpongeBob, we aliens! I'd like a word with you."
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess he just gets torn to shreds.
All right, 8B. Let's see here. Squeaky Boots. It's Pearl's Krabs' birthday. Crab, no, whatever. Instead of getting her the, I don't. What the fuck did I write here?
It was some kind of weird shoe, but they look like those wooden Dutch shoes.
Oh, cool! I mistyped here. I wrote, instead of getting her the Cook new shoes, I meant to write cool, and I accidentally hit K instead of L.
Her shoes Cook.
I'm so confused.
They'll become cool.
Yeah. But he got her these bargain fishing boots, and she doesn't want them.
Boots would be a decent deal, though.
She doesn't want them, so Krabs just gives them to SpongeBob. Well, he doesn't give them. He tries to sell them, so he offers his paycheck for it, painting the Krusty Krab, and a year's supply of French fry oil, just for these boots.
Mr. Krabs tells him to quit it or he's going to give him a heart attack. So he takes the deal, gives him the boots, and then regrets it instantly.
Yeah, because SpongeBob likes the boots so much, and he's just walking around squeaking all the time. And He sneaks into the house, steals the boots. SpongeBob comes to work, the next day, devastated, thinking he failed Krabs by losing them. And then Krabs begins hearing the squeaking noises everywhere. They're the telltale boots.
No, no, this action will have consequences.
Yeah. And then instead of just like because like this is a parody of the Telltale Heart. Instead of just tearing up some floorboards and like here's the stupid boots, take them back. He just fries them and eats them. He's like
he hides them under the Krusty Krab. He lifts up the whole store, takes them, fries them, and then munches them up. But then he hiccups, squeaks.
Yeah. And then we have episode 9, Nature Pants. SpongeBob has an acid trip daydream, then quits his job to live with jellyfish, gives his stuff to Squidward and Patrick, including All Reliable, the jellyfish net, becomes a nudist. Patrick desperately wants him to come back, so he tries to catch him like a jellyfish. He then hides in a jellyfish hive until Patrick leaves and starts eating the jelly. Then the jellyfish return and shock the fuck out of him. He gets infected by poisonous sea urchins, goes home, and ends up infecting everybody at the surprise party.
It's also the only time Mr. Krabs is generous, because he gave him a Krabby Patty free of charge.
Oh my. Nah, he probably took it out of his paycheck.
Maybe. But as far as just words go, he's like, quit your blubber and have a Krabby Patty, and he just gives him one without question. But then he also gives him his hat back and says you see him at work, so...
And then we have 9B, Opposite Day. Patrick and SpongeBob thinks it's Squidward's birthday, but it's not, and he decides to move out because he's annoyed. Finds a realtor who can sell his house, provided it's not infested with nematodes or bad neighbors. So, wait, no.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm confused. So Squidward's selling the house.
Yeah, Squidward wants out of the neighborhood, so he's trying to sell his house. But he's worried that she won't sell his house because of his annoying neighbors.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now my notes are making sense. So yeah, he acts like a jackass, and he gets them to participate in Opposite Day. So instead of being his usual dipshit, he's like, you got to be like regular. Just do the opposite. So he's like, it goes so far out of hand that SpongeBob destroys his own house. And then he has a big brain moment and takes over Squidward's personality, since Squidward appears to be taking over from his perspective. Then the realtor arrives and SpongeBob says a bunch of opposite shit and scares off the realtor by acting like Squidward, I guess.
Well, what really sold it is that she thinks she's talking to Squidward. Then Patrick shows up out of nowhere, who is also Squidward. Then Squidward shows up, and he's like, yo, I'm the real Squidward, and she's just had it at this point, so she just leaves.
I see, yeah.
And Gary's there, too. Gary was the breaking point. Once Gary was Squidward, she leaves.
Episode 10A, Culture Shock. Squidward fantasizes about doing ballet, and SpongeBob frantically cleans shit. Oh, God, I'm really hating this. Hopefully we never have to put an episode off for this long, because I don't remember. Usually I write the notes, and it's like, oh, we'll do it like shortly after, and I can remember everything. But it's been 2 years, so I don't remember the context of these notes.
So what happens is Mr. Krabs needs an idea to bring in customers because profits are down. So Squidward suggests that they do a talent show, but he wants the show to be all about him. So when he gets his chance to perform, everybody hates it. But SpongeBob, he's got skills with a broom or a mop, but the audience loves his act of him just cleaning up the place. Squidward gets jealous. He goes back out there because he thinks they want him. They all shut up when he shows on stage. SpongeBob comes back out and mops. It just goes back and forth with SpongeBob and Squidward cheering and booing. Then Squidward attempts to clean the stage, but it's already old news. So SpongeBob comes out with a dustpan, which is new material, and the audience loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. I got you. I'll remember this garbage.
So I did write there's a guy that came in for change, and then he gets his change, I guess. He tips SpongeBob a cent, and then Krabs takes a cent.
Mr. Krabs is trying to bring in more customers because they're just not making money, so he offered a free salad bar.
Mm.
And the dude needed change for a payphone. Imagine a payphone. Anyone who does is a real one. He gives him a penny. Mr. Krabs loses his mind and just steals it.
Mm-hmm. And then, I wrote that SpongeBob is just convinced he's got to be in this show, or he's going to be. And he writes, he decides to demonstrate his Mr. Absorbency act, where he pulls up a bathtub of water underwater and then absorbs the bathtub water. So he was ahead of Belle Delphine on that curve.
Oh, snap.
I wonder, who knows? Maybe that's where she got the idea.
Let's not talk about that. You've already ruined his childhood once. You need to stop.
Come on now. But yeah. Yep. Pearl's also in the show. It's a disaster because every time she jumps, she causes a small earthquake.
Weighs like a couple tons. So she just kills everybody.
Yeah. Plankton shows up as a magician, just tries to steal a Krabby Patty, but I guess gets.
He ended up blowing himself up.
Yeah.
He said his spell wrong or something.
Yeah. Squidward gets bitched at for, apparently ruining everything. But he insists, he saved the best for last himself. I guess it didn't work out. SpongeBob comes on and saves the day with his antics, which is just mopping, and, everything's fine after that.
Yes, everything I just said earlier.
Yeah. 10B, FUN.
Whoop!
Plankton successfully steals a Krabby Patty. SpongeBob gives chase to catch him. He finds the patty in disguise outside a magic shop and assumes it's a magician and bores Plankton to the point of giving up the patty. I don't even know what that sentence is supposed to mean, but yeah. Everyone shits on Plankton, and then SpongeBob feels bad and tries to cheer him up. Karen tells Plankton to go along with it to try to steal the patty back, but he gets so distracted by the fun that he forgets. So they go see a movie. Krabs follows, revealing that Plankton stole a patty and kept it in his pocket. And then Plankton gets avoured at the end.
That's not. Why do you gotta say that garbage, Jack? Damn it! You stop that! You
Come on, this is great content. This is great content. Think of the laughs we're getting right now.
I'm surprised you went with Vor instead of Bubble Bass just like sitting on Plankton's face and just rubbing his booty into it, each individual cheek.
Oh, so we got reverse board. He went in the back end.
No, he got both.
Oh, okay.
Plankton or Bubble Bass sits on him and crushes him, and while he's grinding on him, SpongeBob throws popcorn, which makes him run off, and then Plankton can breathe again.
I see. Then we have episode 11A, Muscle Bob Buff Pants. So once again, with SpongeBob's weakness, he struggles to lift a weight that just has teddy bears on the end. So Sandy says SpongeBob won't get anywhere with those and shows off her fucking huge biceps that are, she's got like a sleeper build body, I guess.
Yes.
She puts it through a crazy workout, but, he gives up. It doesn't work out and goes home and sees a commercial for fake muscle arms. The next day he has these and goes around flexing, but it blows up on him when he can't even lift a glass of iced tea. However, she enters him into a lifting competition, and he still fails because his balloons pop. 11B, Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost. Squidward makes a wax statue of himself, and then SpongeBob and Patrick are playing catch with a shell, goes into Squidward's house and embeds itself in the statue. They think it's him and that he's fallen unconscious. He gets melted. Then the real Squidward comes out of the bathroom all powdered, so they think it's his ghost. He tries taking advantage of this by making them do whatever he wants. And eventually they try to put him to rest. but then he confesses and they don't believe him. So they put him in a bubble and he floats up to the sky surrounded by seagulls.
Thing is, Patrick believes him, but SpongeBob still thinks he's dead.
I see.
So they just they send
how
him
many
straight beyond, which is
how many are there?
There's like 23 episodes. There's a bunch of them in the first season.
Nah, it says there's 20 here.
Yeah, it's 20 or 23. There's a few of them. Each season's like 20, 23 episodes long.
But yeah, I'm looking at the clock like, man, this is gonna be a long one. But yeah, usually the show episodes take a while. Even though we're like barely talking about each one, it adds up. Imagine if we actually did something like Lost.
Oh, snap. That'd be involved.
We would not be able to get through one season in one episode. You'd have to have like season 1 part like 1 through 6.
All right, we're changing subject. We're talking about Lost now.
No. If we want to do that, I need to get a hold of the entire set.
I wouldn't be able to do that again. I can remember the important parts.
Yeah.
Of the show,
the only way we'd be able to do something long like that is if we like sat down and recorded while we watched it. But that's the problem with doing that. If we're streaming it from one to the other person, is it's not gonna. Like, one of us is going to be reacting, like, a few seconds late.
I don't know. Should we do a part 2 to the SpongeBob thing? Should we do a part 2 to the SpongeBob thing?
No, it'll be fine. Like, we've done episodes on DuckTales, and they've almost gone for 2 hours.
Yeah,
but, like, but the problem is, if we split this up, I got to make an extra thumbnail. I'm like,
Well, how much longer are we actually going to do it, though?
We can keep going. I mean, we're partway. We got like what? We got 8 episodes left at this point.
Do that, I guess.
Episode 12A, The Chaperone. SpongeBob gets to go on a date with Pearl Krabs because she's got no one else to go with. It goes badly. That's all I wrote.
Man, she's dating this dude that's tall, tan, and handsome. No, long, tan, and handsome. That's her words. And he's just a pizza topping anchovy. He's like this nerdy looking dude. But he stood Pearl up for the prom. So Mr. Krabs voluntells SpongeBob to take her to the prom.
Damn. SpongeBob is a burger flipper / booty call.
Yeah.
This is prostitution.
He's pretty sure. He's older than Pearl because he admits to Gary he couldn't get a date for his own junior prom or senior prom.
Oh.
So we got this grown man, age unknown, taking Pearl to her date. We don't talk about that though. My childhood's already ruined enough.
All right. 12B, Employee of the Month. SpongeBob and Squidward fight to get Employee of the Month. SpongeBob digs a hole to leave Squidward in, and they go back and forth trapping themselves. They both go insane trying to please Krabs. Eventually, the Krusty Krab explodes and people take all the patties, and then Krab laments all the lost money.
You right.
Huh?
He's just freaking out.
Yeah. Episode 13A, Scaredy Pants. I guess this is the first Halloween episode. It's Halloween and, SpongeBob's just afraid, jumping at everything. But determined to overcome his fear, he decides to scare people as a ghost after some surgery to make his head round.
Yes, Patrick just shaves his entire body, includes skin and all, till only his brain and eyes are exposed.
Ew.
Which scares the Flying Dutchman because he's trying to be the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs chokes on an apple and embarrasses Pearl.
Yeah. Yeah, they go to a party at the Krusty Krab to scare people. It fails when Patrick gets stung by a jellyfish.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, you said one of them's trying to be the Flying Dutchman. The actual guy shows up to the party because he hates SpongeBob's shitty costume.
Only to find out he's terrifying and he just runs away scared. He's like, hey, I scared him. Patrick's like, it must be your pink hat. He's like, no, that's my brain. And then Patrick freaks out and leaves.
I see. 13B, I was a teenage Gary.
This one's got some controversy. I don't know if it's controversy, but there is a Mandela effect to it. that people believe, or they've claimed to see Squidward turn into the snail when he's injected with snail plasma.
They say Squidward does it?
Yeah, so Gary gets, what is it? Gary gets sick somehow.
Okay, so I'm confused about that because the last note I wrote here is, all right, actually, let's just go through it because otherwise it'll be weird.
Maybe I'm getting mixed up.
So Patrick wants to go jellyfish fishing with SpongeBob.
Yes, yeah, that's
Squidward gets volunteered to watch Gary, I guess. He forgets to feed Gary. He remembers only as SpongeBob returns, and then SpongeBob finds Gary sick. A vet gives SpongeBob a syringe of snail plasma, but Squidward accidentally injects it into SpongeBob.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Gary just takes one sip of water and heals up. SpongeBob slowly becomes a snail. He then goes to Squidward, and Squidward gets injected with the snail plasma and becomes a snail himself.
The Mandela effect of this episode is what the claim is. When the episode first aired, it showed Squidward horrifyingly turning into a snail, but it has never aired again since after that, if it's true, and there's no way to confirm or deny it.
Yeah. So I guess it just doesn't show his transformation or something. It just cuts to it already done, and he just looks normal.
People will say that they remember him becoming the snail.
Episode 14A, SB129.
It was this episode that confirmed that SpongeBob takes place in 2017.
Oh.
Because when he goes to the future, the calendar says it's like August or whatever of 4017.
Yeah, exactly 2,000 years later per the title card, which is interesting.
So as we're making this recording right now, Squidward is currently frozen in the Krusty Krab freezer.
Yeah, and has been for, let's see, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been 7 years. So he's got 1,993 years to go.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of time left in here.
Yeah. But yeah, Squidward wants to play his clarinet, but keeps getting bothered. He hides at the Krusty Krab where it's closed, for the night or whatever. I thought it was like a 24-hour business per
Sunday, and back then you got Sundays off because it was the 90s.
Yeah.
Restaurants were closed Sundays.
But yeah, you'd think Krabs. He's probably pissed though that he can't keep it open 24/7 at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes in the freezer, gets locked in, but figures, somebody will be along shortly. 2,000 years later.
Dead.
Squidward meets Spongetron, who frees him. All of Bikini Bottom is now covered in chrome, and there's beeping sounds everywhere. Squidward does want to go back in time, and conveniently there's a time machine, but he accidentally goes to the Stone Ages and meets Spongegar. He's frustrated with them torturing themselves by handling a jellyfish. He takes their loincloths and makes them jellyfish nets.
And instantly invents jellyfishing.
Yes. And after playing his clarinet, it angers them, so he escapes back to the time machine and breaks it. Sends himself to a weird abstract world, and somehow, I don't know, after crying a lot, he just ends up back in his own time period.
He jumps up and down a lot, and it turns out he's just on the roof of the time machine. Because he falls through the ceiling and he's able to go back home, where SpongeBob and Patrick reveal he created jellyfishing.
Mm-hmm. And of course, somewhere in this episode is where we get future.
Yes, it's after Squidward learns there are 486 letters in the alphabet. He just has a breakdown.
Mm-hmm. All right. I got to take a short break, so I'll be back in like 10 minutes, maybe.
10 minutes. Yeah. All right, I guess that means I'm in charge again, dagnabbit.
Do me a favor, keep yourself unmuted and just keep blabbing so the bot doesn't leave.
Oh, poo. How much longer is it going to be, though? SpongeBob was created in the 90s. Wonderful show. this, that, the other. I gotta keep blabbing, or else the bot dies. Licking doorknobs is illegal on other planets.
Later that same evening.
99.99.
What now?
Oh, there. I'm just trying to say random garbage to keep the bot alive.
Yeah, it's just that if it doesn't hear anything after a while, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna leave. 14B karate choppers. Sandy and SpongeBob try to do karate for some reason. SpongeBob gets fired for doing karate at work, but immediately gets rehired. And then both of them go insane after being told they can't do karate anymore.
Which Mr. Krabs they can't do because they can do what they want on their own time.
Yeah. They end up making sandwiches with karate. Krabs discovers them and decides to hire Sandy since their karate actually makes tons of Krabby Patty in record time. So he's like, ooh, money, more product, more money.
He's got a brilliant idea.
It's like, fine, they can have their fun as long as I can profit. 15A, sleepy time. So SpongeBob has some acid trip dream about being a rock that becomes a great racer and gets his driving license. Mrs. Puff then destroys his license and he bursts out of his body and enters Gary's dream. Gary, it turns out, is actually highly intelligent. Then he goes back to his own body but decides to check out Patrick's dream. It's boring, so he leaves and goes to Squidward's dream. Squidward's playing music for a king. Squidward gets angry and breaks out his clarinet, so SpongeBob becomes a clarinet and starts yelling. Goes over to Sandy's dream. She's doing a skydiving stunt. Goes to Pearl's dream. She's having a tea party. Goes to Krabs. He's having a knockoff of the old man in the sea, but it's the old crab in the sea. He catches $1, but it escapes with his wallet. Plankton's dream, he's a supervillain with laser vision and destroys the Krusty Krab, and then everyone comes to SpongeBob's house the next day and wakes him up to bitch at him for joining their dreams. So SpongeBob actually, did Inception first.
Oh my.
15B, Suds. So once again on the dreams thing, he dreams about a Krabby Patty rain shower, goes for a midnight snack, passes out, leaves his fridge open, freezing his house. He then contracts Suds, goes to work, very irresponsible for a sick person that works in the food industry. Krabs sends him home, which is very unrealistic for, management ever, and, also Krabs.
He didn't want to get people sick because he can get sued into oblivion. Then everyone gets panicked, and they leave anyway.
Yeah. But now SpongeBob is afraid to see the doctor, so he gets Patrick to be the doctor. And Patrick's solutions just make the problem worse. And then Sandy and Patrick take him to an actual doctor who has Hans, a random hand. What the fuck is his name? Uses him to clean dishes, a man, a car, and other things to get the suds out of him. Patrick then pretends to have suds and gets rubbed on a cactus and used to clean a toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
The only proof show where animal cruelty was shown in SpongeBob.
Yes.
Don't cut that out. You don't gotta let me
know. Nope. Your controversy stays in. If you get canceled, it's of your own.
That's why I said don't cut it out.
Oh, I thought you said cut that out because you didn't want to be exposed.
No, they need to know. They need to know.
All right. Episode 16A, Valentine's Day.
Oh, this one's awesome because there is a suicide hill right next to the Valentine's Day Carnival called Mount Climb Up and Fall Off.
Oh, no.
So if you don't got a date, you go climb up and fall off and just fall off of it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he gives out Valentine's. There's a special one for Patrick, and he's super excited and thinks it's it's like it's everything to him or whatever. I don't know.
what happens is he's got him a giant chocolate balloon. Sandy's trying to fly it in, but she's attacked by chocolate-eating scallops. So at the top of the Ferris wheel, where he's supposed to see the gift, all he gives him is a handshake.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
And
but yeah,
Patrick's very upset about it. And then all of a sudden, these people are who've never met SpongeBob before start telling Patrick of all the cool things that he gave them, and then he just loses his mind.
Yeah, he gets enraged at everybody else's better gifts. Chases everyone to a pier overlooking the water, underwater. I love the logic.
Yeah, that water underwater, it's important.
Finally, the Valentine shows up. I don't know. She made a new one, whatever.
It's the same one. She's got it all patched up with Band-Aids.
See. But he refuses to turn around and look at it until Sandy says hi. He then bites it and explodes. Because I don't know, I guess he's so excited.
And then he tells SpongeBob that he didn't have to get him anything after all.
16B, the paper. Squidward litters a candy wrapper. SpongeBob returns it to him, insisting it's a treasure trove of fun. Squidward's like, well, yeah, you can just, you can have it forever. SpongeBob acts like a maniac, and then because he's so happy to have it. Squidward slowly becomes jealous of the fun, and eventually he wants it back. Gives him everything he owns for it. Gets bored of it quickly, and then Patrick just takes it and throw away his gum.
Yeah, Squidward's like, I can't believe I traded everything for it. And then Patrick shows up and is like, a worthless piece of paper. Oh, thanks, Squidward. I could use it. Takes it, puts his gum in it, and throws it out.
Episode 17A. It's just called Arg, I guess.
Oh, the pirate one.
Yeah. With no business, everybody just goofs off at the crab after cleaning the gum off the bottom of the tables and eating it. No.
Yeah, and then they start chewing it.
I just said they were eating it.
I heard you say cleaning.
No, yeah, they cleaned it off and then they start eating it, which is just disgusting.
It's recycling.
No. They play a rip-off Monopoly, probably to avoid copyright. And Krabs gets so into the game that he kicks out a customer. They play into the night, and then SpongeBob just leaves with Patrick. The Crab shows up at their house so he can play more, but gets mad because SpongeBob kicks him out so he can sleep. He shows up the next day and decides they're going to be pirates, so SpongeBob gets 2 peg legs and Patrick gets 2 eye patches. The ship gets crashed. They go 10,000 steps in the wrong direction because Patrick messed up.
Read his compass as west.
Yeah. They turn around and they camp. They find out that the treasure map is just a game board taped to a piece of paper. And then I love how they looked at their eyes. When they looked... Wait, no. Love how when they looked, their eyes extended down to the paper.
Yes.
17B, rock bottom. SpongeBob beats up a bus driver with a balloon. The bus leaves Bikini Bottom. The G-force is enough to rip SpongeBob's clothes off, but they magically reattach themselves after the bus stops. Then the bus driver abandons him, I guess, because he's still upset about getting beat up.
He also never paid his bus fare.
There's some weird bathrooms. I don't know what I was on. SpongeBob goes to get a bus schedule and tells Patrick to let him know if he sees a bus, but Patrick just gets on a bus and leaves SpongeBob behind. He then decides to stay put until a bus comes after missing a few every time, like he turns around. There's a glove-flavored glove candy at some point. He just decides to use a vending machine before the next bus arrives, gets in a line. Some guy lays an egg on him. 3 new fish come out and then, make the line longer. So he gets so angry that he implodes into his clothing to swear. Ends up having to wait till morning. And then, I don't know, he eventually gets to go home after his balloon gets blown up. And it just takes him home.
Patrick did go back for him, though.
Episode 18A, Texas.
What's so great about dumb old Texans?
Man, Sparks and OC are gonna be very upset with you for saying that.
Well, they're in an inferior time zone anyway.
Controversy.
I know. Imagine not being Eastern time and inferior. I get to be in next year before everybody. I'm so toxic.
Now I have friends that are over in Europe, and they get to be in the new year 6 hours before us. It's pretty cool.
Well, Europe doesn't count because that's where all the foreigners are. You know, and they're just wrong. Controversy. I'm gonna get us all canceled.
But yeah, Sandy's homesick for Texas, so SpongeBob teams up with Patrick to get her a piece of Texas. She goes to leave, but as she leaves, that's why you said that. What's so great about dumb old Texas?
And then she gets mad.
The bus backs up. She comes out in a rage, and SpongeBob decides to mock Texas as some sort of reverse psychology, but just makes Sandy angrier. They run off, and she chases them. This is where we get the meme where they're both roped. And then he leads her back to the Krusty Krab, where they have set up a Texas-themed party. They have Barb EQ, the pecan pie, and 10-gallon hats. Like
they're trying. They truly try.
I'm assuming it's not a 10-gallon hat. They have 10 hats that are a gallon each. I think
it's either that or it was a thing of water. It was either a gallon jug or a 10-gallon jug that they were wearing on their heads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she has a laughing fit because of their attempt.
She
decides to stay.
Words too literally.
Yeah. Episode whatever B or C, I don't know. Walking Small. Plankton attempts to build the Chum Bucket Mega Bucket, but he's too small and his bulldozer gets picked up by a kid. He decides to do something with SpongeBob, and because SpongeBob's just being a wimp all the time and just letting people walk all over him, so I guess he just decides to go hang out with him and get him to be more confident or whatever and more assertive, literally. So they get ice cream, and I gotta say, SpongeBob's mouth game is insane.
Stop! Quit that! My soul's beyond irritated.
So he begins to trick SpongeBob into having a spine to get him to stand up to people, but it doesn't work. He gives up, and he's like, yeah, this ain't gonna work out.
Is this the part where we mentioned that the 2B animation was made? Actually, let's not talk about that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know.
Oh, yes, now I remember. Excuse me, you're sitting on my face, which is also my body.
Assertive, and then now cut it out. Oh snap! Next episode.
No. What he says, like I said, be assertive, not insertive.
And then he just puts his finger in his pocket. And that's what happens. It doesn't involve 2B or anything else.
Yeah.
Totally.
But eventually, it's just, oh god, these notes just make no fucking sense.
That's why we have me. So after he rails 2B, wait, we're talking about the actual episode. Poop. So after those who know the animation, they just know it. So after that, he becomes. What does happen? Poop. Next episode. Poop. I'm distracted by.
Yeah. So he just he tries to get a tan or something by scaring off all the beach hogs.
Basically, he scares everyone off. SpongeBob realized he was used for land development. So then he's nice and brings everybody back.
Yeah. Becomes aggressively nice.
Plankton
after
has
bitching at everybody.
Yeah, then Plankton has a meltdown and he leaves because there's too much kindness.
Here, we're almost at the end. Just 2 more episodes to go.
Maybe think
episode 19, Fools in April. SpongeBob goes on a prank rampage. Squidward calls out of work because it's April Fool's and he just doesn't want to deal with anybody's shit. Krabs Says some guy from a museum is here to see Squidward, and he rushes over only to find out it's a joke. And then Squidward quits until SpongeBob promises he won't prank him for the rest of the day. So SpongeBob carries on with pranks and still ends up annoying Squidward. So then Squidward sets up an elaborate prank trap for SpongeBob and dies laughing at his pain. SpongeBob ends up really hurt and runs away crying. After everyone leaves, Squidward realizes how fucked up it was, so he goes to find him to apologize. He still can't manage to say, "I'm sorry," and has to go to elaborate measures to attempt it. He's only able to say sorry with a bubble and leaves, somehow, but is haunted by his conscience. Eventually goes back and apologizes, but apparently all of Bikini Bottom pranked him by acting upset, so he takes it back as April Fool's. Neptune spatula. I liked this one.
Yes.
There's a golden spatula, and SpongeBob goes for a picture, but he's worthy. Neptune shows up to seek the worthy fry cook, but doesn't believe it was SpongeBob. Patrick gets vaporized. Neptune challenges SpongeBob for the right to be his fry cook, where if he fails, he must never fry cook again. SpongeBob accepts. Hang on, I need water. Or Gatorade, rather.
No! It's salty Kool-Aid, but it's still delicious.
So they enter the Poseidome. Great name. Krabs is the announcer and also bets heavily on Neptune because he doesn't think SpongeBob will win. And the game is to cook 1,000 Krabby Patties, and whoever does that first wins. Somehow, Neptune has the recipe. He uses his full god power to prepare and cook all of his patties, but SpongeBob takes his time to perfect a single one. All of Neptune's are horrible because they were just, created by, just magic or whatever. He tries SpongeBob's version, and it's so pure heaven, so he eats it twice. Somehow.
Yeah, he just spits it back out because he's a god, so he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and he just concedes. Patrick can't come, so SpongeBob doesn't want to go, but he makes SpongeBob a god, and then he uses his power to make Neptune a fry cook at the Krusty Krab, and then I guess makes himself mortal again.
The plot demands it.
Either that, or he has this god power, and he just kind of holds it in and just doesn't use it, which is amusing. And then episode 20, Hooky.
Cookie?
Hooky.
Cookie.
Hooky. Hooky.
Oh, Hooky. Oh, okay. So I thought you were talking about the other episode.
No. Krabs comes in like a madman, babbling about the return of the hooks. And Patrick begs SpongeBob to take a break and come back to the carnival. But everyone's gone, taken by the hooks. Patrick starts eating all the cheese on the hooks, eventually gets taken by one, but floats back down. They ride a hook nearly to the surface and hop off, but the fishermen get annoyed. Back at the Krusty Krab, Squidward burns everything again. Krabs finds out SpongeBob went on break and sets out to find them. Scolds them for riding the hooks because, if they don't come back, it's not going to be good. They have only to be shoved in a can of tuna and look forward to the smell of mayonnaise. God, these notes, I hate these. I don't understand. I'm assuming that's what he's saying that will happen if they get taken up.
If they're taken up, they will be vacuum packed in a can of tuna. And the only thing they have left to look forward to before they cross over is the smell of mayonnaise.
Mm. But yeah, so SpongeBob's like, all right, I promise. But Patrick still wants to keep playing hooky. SpongeBob can't help himself and ends up getting hooked. He goes to the Krusty Krab for help. Pearl Krabs is having a tea party with her friends. They're having water. Underwater. His pants are hooked, and he asks Krabs for help. I love how he's just walking around with this hook on him. And they're not reeling the thing in yet, but the plot demands it, I suppose.
Yes.
He has no choice but to take his pants off while the girls are still there. He manages to, but it's still hooked to his underwear, so he gets dragged off until the underwear snaps off. He's relieved until he gets flung back to the front window of the Krusty Krab in front of all the girls. And then one of them says, "That was more SpongeBob than I needed to see," which implies SpongeBob is hung.
Will you stop that? You're ruining my childhood.
The chaos.
I'm very angry.
Patrick became a tuna can.
But yeah, Patrick didn't learn his lesson. He suffered. But he didn't get sent to the surface. He was delivered back home.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because it was a can of starfish instead of a can of tuna.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can eat a starfish.
And then 20B, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. Whoa, here we go. SpongeBob watches the show and wins the conch signal prop from the show. He blows it, and the actual guys hear it, rush to his aid, and they get mad about his false alarm, but since he won it, he gets to keep it. He promises to only use it when danger is near. He immediately then uses it to call them to open a mayo jar because he's weak. They allow him to use it now and again because there's no actual danger. So he summons them to clean his house and, do chores and all that. They eventually just let him be here, their sidekick, so he can hang out with them and stop bothering them all the time, I guess. Then an evil bubble or something shows up to attack them, and he accidentally saves them by trying to get his autograph.
He kills the dirty bubble.
Yeah. They're grateful for the rescue, I guess. And then that's the end of season 1. Pretty good.
You ruined my childhood.
And I shall ruin it more in the next 2 seasons and movie.
You're fired. You're fired somehow.
Can't fire me. I'm your boss here.
Oh, yeah, well, controversy. I don't know. I don't have anything controversial right now. I'm not feeling malicious.
Well, that's all we got. This was a long one. But eventually, maybe next year we'll do season 2. I have to start watching it. And yes, this is actually the first time I'm actually getting to watch it because I wasn't allowed to watch it as a young kid.
Well, geez, and considering you already made it dirty, you might as well have missed out anyway. Dagnabbit.
Well, you see, I wouldn't have thought it was dirty at the time. As I grow up.
Now, see, this is what they were trying to stop you from doing. Soul's irritated.
I cannot be stopped.
I'm very upsetty spaghetti.
Good. And one thing I do gotta say, even though I saw enough clips as a kid, and I did see a few episodes as a kid, I just don't remember. I distinctly, if I scroll back through here, I remember as a kid getting to see the Ripped Pants one. I remember the where is it? The Home Sweet Pineapple one. And Sandy's Rocket, I remember that one. And then the one where they're lifting weights, and he's got the fake fake muscle arms. I remember those. But yeah, that's pretty much all I get to see. But I know enough of it that when you watch this as a kid, you kind of just think you idolize SpongeBob, whatever. You do realize Patrick's a dumbass, but it's whatever. And everyone doesn't like Squidward because they're oh, he's such a dick all the time. But then you become an adult and you realize SpongeBob is the one that's just he's well-meaning and he's a good kid, but he's annoying, and you kind of relate to Squidward more.
Squidward.
But yeah, I think that's good, and that'll be it. I'm done ruining your childhood for now.
I'm very angry.
Good. I can feel your anger.